Good morning, sir. This is Samuel Johnson of BCE section, and through this video presentation, I would be the topic of my video presentation is time to be liberated, and I have inherited this topic from the concept moksha of Bhagavad Gita. So this is also on the same topic. I have even writing the book for the final evaluation, and the main concepts are moksha, the introduction, and the misconceptualized concepts of on the topic moksha, slavery of the era. Through this slavery of the era, we would be seeing how we are addicted to in the present generation, and what are the things from which we need liberation, freedom, the so-called freedom which we are trying to attain, and the need for liberation, and the paths to attain, three paths to attain liberation, and the conclusion. So at the outset, I would be speaking exclusively on what is moksha and how Arjuna got enlightenment from Lord Krishna and all those things. So let's get started as we go through from top to bottom, that is starting from moksha and what it means to be liberated. The Bhagavad Gita talks about moksha or liberation. It is a liberation from all the barricades. It's a liberation from prejudice based on caste, creed, religion, gender, and nationality as a whole. It is a freedom from fanaticism. It is a freedom from hypocrisy. It is a freedom from hatred, violence against humanity and nature. If you have to think positively and optimistically from the point of Bhagavad Gita, it is a freedom to explore, it is a freedom to innovate, and absolutely it is a freedom to accept truth even when it goes against one's own faith, beliefs, opinions, etc. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that one has to give up everything and totally surrender himself to him so as to attain this so-called freedom or liberation, which we all of us are thrive to attain it and to obtain by all means. Here I have two questions for us to reflect upon or ponder over. What does giving up everything mean? What does it to surrender totally? And does giving up or surrendering oneself totally to Lord Krishna mean that we give up all values, dharmas? Is it? And when we think about these two questions, not at all. It is not like that. Going with the explanation and answering these two questions, it depends upon on which context Lord Krishna says this thing, that surrendering totally to himself, to him, would help us to attain liberation. Lord Krishna's words are addressed to Arjuna, who is in ignorance. But then Arjuna knows that Lord Krishna is the supreme one, and only he can give or grant him the eternal liberation, that is moksha. Though Arjuna knew that Lord Krishna only is capable of granting him moksha, but then he didn't know the ways, and he knew that Lord Krishna only can grant him the internal liberation. He didn't know how to reach him. So Arjuna knows the destination, but he didn't know how to get there. Of course, Arjuna knew that there are ways like Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga to reach him, but he finds himself incapable of following these two ways. He finds them also so hard to follow. He is not a sage and he cannot do intense penance. Then he knows that this life is not permanent, and it keeps changing every minute. And he knows that Vaikuntha is permanent and it is not changing. What should he do to get there? That's what Lord shows him. The Lord tells Arjuna, and through him to everyone, to the whole world, the easiest way to reach him is the total surrender to him at his feet. this will get rid of us, that binds the ties that binds us to this world, to this, and from all the worldly desires and wishes. All our sins and good deeds and all our sins and the good deeds and the effects of both will no longer affect us when we surrender ourselves totally at His feet. So getting rid of all the sins that we committed on this world is important criteria that plays in pivotal role. But then getting rid of those sins can be done in two ways. One is paying for the bad deeds, the sins that we committed by living a suffering life on this earth, or for atoning for the same and getting rid of our sins. And the atonement can be done in a prescribed ways. And the problem is that we are so ignorant that we do not know even the ways for doing the atonement, and that's what causes a lot on this earth. And hence Saranagati, or the path of complete surrender, is the only way to help all of us break free from such worldly ties to attain moksha or the liberation. To be precise and to the point, the Bhagavad Gita presents three ways to attain salvation, the what we call moksha. The primary principle of each paths are the same. Three ways to salvation are: the first one is the karma yoga, the path of duty. The second one is the jnana yoga, the path of knowledge, and the third one is the bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. The irony when we speak about moksha is that we all of us want to get liberation or attain salvation or attain moksha, but none of us seek to attain salvation. Only few, like monks or those people who are at the service of God, try to seek to attain salvation. Not all of us. All of us want, none of us actually seek for it. When we speak on moksha, the concept of rebirth comes as inseparable from moksha, and both this moksha and rebirth concept is both are inseparable, and so we have to look in deep and delve deep so that we get a good clarification. Thus, to be clear with concept of moksha and rebirth in Hinduism, or what Bhagavad Gita says, we need to look into other religions also who speak on rebirth and moksha, and who doesn't go in line with the concept of moksha and rebirth. So, of course, in Hinduism, the moksha and rebirth are a very core part of Hinduism, and the rebirth, or the end of death and rebirth cycle, is what we call moksha, the salvation. So in line with these concepts, Jainism, Buddhism and Sikhism, all these religions have the same concept, reincarnation and moksha. On the contrary to Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism and Buddhism, Christianity and Islam do not go in line with these moksha and rebirth or incarnation, because Christians and Islamists believe that there is only one way, there is no rebirth cycle as such. So these are the major religions that we come across in our day-to-day life, in and around India and in the world as a whole. So Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism are on one side believing and emphasizing on moksha and rebirth cycle, whereas Christians or Islamists do not believe in rebirth. Though there are denominations among them who believe in rebirth, but then rebirth as such is a big concept as a whole. So going with the concept topic moksha, so just to, because they are inseparable, I have spoken on a rebirth cycle as well. So all the lessons and the words that Lord Krishna had given to Arjuna appeals to every one of us here. So it is mandatory for all of us to give ourselves completely, totally to Him to attain salvation, liberation, freedom, or moksha, whatever words we use to call it. So consequently, we cannot get liberation. It is not that we can only attain liberation, salvation only after our death. We can get liberation, we can get freedom in our day-to-day life. You can ask how, because most of us are addicted, or we are slaves to many bad habits, like using to mobile phones always, and some drinking, being too lazy, and violating moral ethics and things, etc. So every time we rise above them and overcome these things, we really attain liberation, salvation in our own little way. So that's how I conclude this presentation, that we can attain liberation every day by overcoming the bad thoughts, bad habits, being negative, and all these things. So that's how we experience the liberation, the salvation on this world as a human being, even before we die and experience what the next level of salvation that Bhagavad Gita speaks. That's how I try to make it to appeal to all of us, that I actually gone through from Bhagavad Gita. So thank you so much, sir, for listening. I hope my presentation was up to the mark and up to the expectations, and I am happy that I have got the chance to go through Bhagavad Gita and give my presentation through a video. Thank you, sir.